On a snowy New Year's Eve, a little girl was walking alone in the streets. She was dressed in tattered clothes and barefoot, as her shoes were too old to wear. The streets were filled with houses lit by warm lights, and the sound of laughter echoed through the night, but none of it seemed to have anything to do with her. The little girl held a small handful of matches, trying to sell them. "Would anyone like to buy some matches?" she asked softly. Unfortunately, no one stopped. People hurried past her, busy preparing to welcome the new year, paying no attention to the poor little girl. Even though her hands and feet were freezing, the girl dared not return home because she hadn't sold a single match and feared her stepmother would beat her. She hadn't eaten for days, and her stomach growled with hunger. She wanted to find a warm place to shelter from the cold, but every door on the street was tightly shut. It was unbearably cold. The little girl sat in a corner, curling up to keep warm. After thinking for a moment, she decided to light one of the matches. As the match ignited, the bright light made her feel as if she were sitting beside a warm stove. Her body slowly began to feel comfortable. But as the match burned out, the illusion disappeared, and she was back on the cold street. Eager for warmth, the girl lit a second match. This time, she saw a lavish feast. The table was filled with delicious food, roast goose, bread, and fruits of all kinds. She could almost smell the aroma and reached out to take some, but once again, the match went out, and the feast vanished. The little girl lit a third match, and this time she saw a Christmas tree adorned with sparkling lights and beautiful decorations. The lights grew brighter and brighter, rising into the sky and transforming into twinkling stars. Amidst the dazzling starlight, she saw her beloved grandmother. Her grandmother smiled at her, gently opening her arms, making the girl feel a sense of peace and happiness. Her heart filled with warmth, knowing her grandmother was in heaven. The girl hurriedly struck all the remaining matches, unwilling to let her grandmother disappear. The glow of the matches illuminated her grandmother's loving face. She pleaded, "Please don't leave me, take me with you." She feared being surrounded by loneliness and cold once again. As the light of the final match faded, the little girl felt a sense of weightlessness. Her soul followed her grandmother, rising into the sky and flying toward the warmth and beauty of heaven. There was no cold, hunger, or pain, only happiness and peace. The city awoke with the dawn. Passers-by found the little girl curled up in the corner, her face still wearing a smile, though she had quietly passed away. In her hands was a small bundle of burnt matches, showing her last attempt to find warmth. No one knew what the little girl experienced on the final night of her life. Her poverty and loneliness had been ignored, and her death drew little attention. She was just one of the countless poor children in the city. Yet in heaven, the little girl finally found the warmth and love she had longed for. She was with her grandmother, never again to feel cold or hunger. The world had cruelly abandoned her, but in another world, she had found eternal happiness.